Welcome back. Johnson & Johnson investing more than $1 billion toward U.S. vision manufacturing in Jacksonville, Florida. The distribution facility includes new technology and packaging to support the company's growing demand for its AccuView contact lenses. It's part of the company's ongoing investment into America, already committing $55 billion toward U.S. manufacturing, research and development, and technology through early 2029. Joining me right now in this Fox Business exclusive is the chairman and CEO of Johnson & Johnson, Joaquin Duato. Joaquin, great to have you. Welcome.
Good morning, Maria, and thank you for having me for the first time in your program. Yes, I just came from Jacksonville yesterday, where we announced an investment of more than $1 billion in our vision operations there in Florida. And as you mentioned, it's a show of our confidence in American manufacturing, in American innovation. We are a uniquely American company. When I go to work every day, I go to the same place that our company started 140 years ago. So
wow.
Johnson & Johnson never left. We have been always here. And our goal with this investment, and you mentioned the plan, we have the goal of investing $55 billion over the next 4 years until 2029, is to be able to manufacture here in the U.S. all our medicines and medical technologies and beyond, and it's a show of confidence in American manufacturing. We have the best talent, we have the best investment environment, and very importantly, we have now the tax policy enacted with this administration that is enable us to be competitive. We're playing with a hand tied to our back, Maria, compared to companies that were domiciled outside of the U.S. Now we can create high-skilled jobs, we can invest in America, and we can be competitive.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that because this new deal sets you up to get 3,500 local Jacksonville employees in terms of this investment in that Jacksonville plan. But you have changed this company, Joaquin, and I want you to walk us through what the growth story is of J&J today. You've got 5 leading causes of mortality: cardiovascular, oncology, respiratory, stroke, and trauma within 2 segments, pharmaceutical and Medtech. Where does the growth come from at J&J? And tell us what you're focused on in terms of changing this company.
Thank you. So importantly, as you said, Johnson & Johnson is not the company that your viewers may remember. Now we are a company, pure play healthcare company, squarely focused on medical innovation, trying to cure cancer and tackle difficult diseases like dementia and cardiovascular. Deliberately, we have separated our consumer business, so we are now focused on science and innovation. So what is our goal now? Our goal is to continue to deliver sustained growth through patient breakthroughs. We are now, this year, our guidance is more than $100 billion of sales in 2026. And importantly, in 2025, we have the best total shareholder return in our company history, more than 50%. So our strategy is working and is helping lots of patients. Let me give you a couple of examples of the innovations we are bringing to the market.
Yeah.
One is a recently approved new medicine by the FDA called Icotide. Icotide is a single once-a-day oral pill to treat autoimmune conditions like psoriasis that has the same efficacy and safety as an injectable biologic. That's going to transform the way these autoimmune diseases are working. On the other hand, on our Medtech side, we are about to receive the approval of our first robotic surgical system, which is going to help surgeons do better procedures and improve the outcomes of surgery. So those are 2 growth drivers. The thing for us, Maria, is the thing, we are not a one-trick pony company.
Right.
We're a company with a stable of blockbusters. We have 28 platforms at Johnson & Johnson of more than $1 billion. So that gives us the confidence to be so bold to say we have line of sight to double-digit growth for Johnson & Johnson by the end of the decade. And that is remarkable for a company which is more than $100 billion.
Yeah, it sure is. And the fact that you've got all of this in the pipeline to give you that vision toward perhaps double-digit growth by the end of the decade. You're talking about double-digit growth in sales?
In sales, absolutely.
And the company was at ASCO, the American Cancer Society meeting in earlier, and I want to get your take on that because a lot of commentary after your presentation at the American Cancer Society meeting about the oncology business. Tell us about the oncology business. Where do you see the most progress in terms of a cure for cancer, and which cancer?
Thank you. Oncology is a clear focus of our company. We have stated that we want to be #1 oncology company by 2030. We're in our way. We're #2 today, and our goal there is to be able to treat more patients. So where are we working? We're working in hematological tumors of the blood, like multiple myeloma. Perhaps there is where we have made more progress. We are now treating patients with multiple myeloma that in the past have a life expectancy in the single years. Now they are going more than 10 years. We have a new therapy called cell therapy that uses your immune system to attack the cancer cells that are getting patients that were directed to hospice now with a single administration, Maria, living more than 5 years without any type of relapse.
Wow.
We are also working in solid tumors. We just got approval also by the FDA of a new drug-releasing system that places a medicine into the bladder for treating non-muscle invasive bladder cancer. That's going to save a lot of patients' bladders. That's many of the positive things we're doing here in cancer. Our goal is to be able to convert cancer into a chronic disease, and in some cases, our goal is to be able to cure them, like in the case of multiple myeloma.
That's incredible. And what you've just said resonates so much. I mean, you're talking about the data set that you released at the ASCO conference on lung cancer, on head and neck cancer as well. Talk to us about how you get there. I mean, you're talking about double-digit growth by the end of the decade. Is that organic or acquisitions? Because J&J also acquiring a biotech company, Firefly Bio, in a $1 billion transaction. The deal gives J&J access to Firefly's FireLink DAC platform, a technology that targets and destroys solid tumors. That platform set to enhance the oncology pipeline. So in order to scale this up, the oncology business, is it through more acquisitions or organic?
We have the strongest portfolio and pipeline in our history. We have multiple options within the oncology side, most of them coming from our internal R&D. Now, we have to make investments into the long term. And this year, we acquired 2 oncology companies that have different platforms to attack cancer in different ways. That's the thing, Maria. The science is advancing that we can have better ways of attacking cancer cells. And Firefly Bio and earlier this year, Halda Therapeutics were companies that are helping us attacking cancer in different ways, you know, continuing with our goal to be able to cure cancer one day.
Now, there's also an incredible breadth in your Medtech business, and I want to hear more about that. Medical technology, you're right, this is a different company than when we were thinking about, you know, shampoo and baby powder for Johnson & Johnson. Tell us about the Medtech that you're most excited about.
Medtech business, our most exciting, I told you already, is our robotic surgical system, which is going to help improve the outcomes of surgery. Surgery is a very common procedure. We can improve there. The other side of our Medtech business is vision. You just mentioned vision, our investment of $1 billion. We serve 40 million patients globally. Our AccuView brand is the global leader in vision, and we are also working in cataract surgery. Cataract surgery is a very common procedure. Finally, we're working in cardiovascular disease, in patients that may have atrial fibrillation, in patients that may have a heart attack, in patients that may need its circulation restored. Cardiovascular disease remains the #1 cause of morbidity and hospitalization, and our goal is to use medical technologies in order to improve the lives of millions of patients there. That's the new Johnson & Johnson. We are all about medical breakthroughs and our medical innovation.
That is wonderful. Well, we saw the performance in the first quarter earnings, a number of analysts taking their expectations for your earnings up as you guided analysts to a higher 2026 overall outlook on sales. What does it feel like to you out there right now, Joaquin? I mean, in terms of the backdrop, the economy, what are you seeing?
On one hand, we have a situation which is unique for the industry. Is now we have a combination of science and technology that I'm convinced is going to help medicine and medical technologies advance more in the next decade than we have advanced in the last 100 years. There's a confluence of things. We have a better understanding of the biology of the disease. We have AI supporting us in making faster drug development, smarter instruments. So it's very positive. I think we are in a golden era of life science innovation.
Well, the cost remains a main issue for citizens today, and that is the cost of health care. President Trump has tried to single-handedly take healthcare costs lower. What can you do at J&J to continue that?
We have to engage with the government in order to try to make healthcare more affordable and more accessible for Americans. And as a long-standing company like Johnson & Johnson, engaging with the government is always a priority for us. This government engages with us, they listen to us, and we have got agreements, as you know, in order to make medicines more affordable and more accessible for American patients.
So you're also part of the prescription plan to lower the cost of drugs.
Absolutely. And we agree with the government that we have to make other countries pay the fair share, especially Europe, and at the same time we have to work in the middleman. The middleman captures about 50% of the value of the medicine, and we want that value to go directly to the patient to reduce their out-of-pocket cost. So in those areas, the government is always going to find us, Johnson & Johnson, working with them.
All right, Joaquin, great to have you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. A pleasure to be with you.
Please come back soon. Joaquin Duato joining us here on set. Stay with us. We'll be right back.